Merry Christmas, everyone! Welcome to the Media Raptor Review's first ever Christmas special. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Yo, Rap, why didn't you have a Christmas special last year? Well, that's because I was going to, I just didn't get around to filming it. So to make up for it, I'm gonna have two Christmas specials this year, and they're both gonna be up today, actually. So be sure to look for the second one not long after this one's up. In fact, it might actually be up by the time you're done watching this video. So anyhow, I'm going to review two Christmas horror comedies. The first one is a 2015 one, and the second one is a 1984 film. So it's just over 31 years old now. But you know what? Let's talk about the 2015 one. It's a Christmas horror comedy, I just stated that, why did I repeat that? Called Krampus. Yes. So a lot of you guys might be going, Krampus, what's that? Well, here's sort of what the movie told me. It's a German folktale about the anti-Santa. And essentially, he's this demonic Santa, the shadow of St. Nicholas, if you will. And if you lose the spirit of Christmas, he comes and kills your entire family. Or at least that's what happened in the movie. I don't totally know. If you're German out there and you're watching this, I'm sorry if I offend you by getting it wrong. But I don't know, I didn't bother reading the story. Either way, that's pretty much what I know. Anyhow, so there have been a couple really good Christmas horror comedies. There's been I'm going to list off the others. There's been, what I'm going to review at the same time, Gremlins. There's been Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 1, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2, Santa's Sleigh. And Jack Frost was okay. Jack Frost 2 was okay. There aren't a lot, though. In terms of really good Christmas horror comedies, there aren't a whole lot. And I might be missing some, you guys. Oh, Bad Santa, that wasn't a horror movie. That was a Christmas comedy. And even then, it wasn't that good. So, look, I'm here. I'm going to talk about Krampus, or however you want to pronounce it, however they say it. I'm just going to go back and forth between the two, and I'm sorry if I sound illiterate. So, writing. This movie had a surprisingly good story. And you might think, oh, come on, dude, what can you do with a movie about an evil Santa demon creature which comes and kills people? Well, the story is pretty basic. It's about a kid whose family obviously loses the true meaning of Christmas, and that results in him accidentally calling Krampus up, who then proceeds to murder the whole family. You might think, dude, how much more of a cliched movie could you get? And yes, the story idea is rather cliched, but I'm gonna give this movie credit. The characters are actually pretty likable. Now, of course, we do have our typical horror characters who we hate and we want to die, but a couple of them actually, when they start out, you hate them, but by the time, minutes before they die, they actually kind of change, so they are kind of likable. And sure, the movie is kind of your normal horror movie about a killer monster coming after you, but you know what? It's about a killer Santa demon thing. What more do you expect? All our characters, they have personality. I wasn't expecting depth from any of them, but they actually have some level of personality each, and they were kind of likable. I really liked the main character. I hated her sister, and she was the first to die. I was pretty glad about that. You got a lot of characters, and you have maybe, I don't know, let's see here. Maybe 8 or 9 characters, maybe 10. And they all actually work. They served this movie pretty well. And I don't want to jump over to acting yet, but I'm just going to stick with the writing for a minute. So the story itself was surprisingly strong, and that's not something I was expecting coming from a horror movie about an anti-Santa. But then again, you know what? I was surprised. And atmosphere, it's got a pretty good atmosphere. A couple of jump scares actually work. It's got some pretty funny humor. And to be honest, there is some actually scary scenes, which is actually saying a lot considering the fact that most horror movies rely on relentless gore, which, hey, I'm not against, but it's not scary. Okay, just showing us mutilated body parts isn't scary. Having demonic gingerbread men and jester elf creatures which kill people and eat them alive is kind of scary. Having an angel a demonic angel toy hang somebody is kind of frightening. And you know what? Those scenes work. The humor works. So, enough about the writing, let's move on to acting. Most of the actors do a pretty good job. Now, I'm gonna be honest, a couple of the kid actors kind of sucked, but then again, what do you expect? They're child actors, and they don't bring the movie down. You're just kind of glad when they die. Alright, you kind of feel like not much is lost when they die. And the adult actors, they do a pretty good job, you know. Nobody turns in a bad showing, no one turns in a showing which is going to set the world on fire, but as far as the acting goes, this movie actually does an okay job. So that's all I have to say about that, really. Special effects. I was expecting the special effects to be either good or cheesy. They were really good. This is actually probably one of the movie's strongest suits. And that is quite simply put, the CG actually looks pretty good. Yeah, you can kind of tell it's CG, but then again, it didn't have the hugest budget ever, so I guess you can cut him some slack on that. Krampus himself, you don't see him very much until the end, looks awesome. Because it's not a lot of CG, it's much more practical effects. And that's one of the things that this movie was fantastic at, was the practical effects. The makeup, the costumes, the puppetry, all that looks amazing. And when they do use CG, it actually looks okay. This whole film isn't like everything CG. A lot of it, you can clearly tell when something is CG or real, but it actually worked. And I'm going to give them credits for that, because they did a good job. Krampus looked awesome. Camera work, it's your typical horror stuff like dark lighting, candlelit, the power goes out, that kind of cliche. That's lighting, I mean. Camera, it gets kind of shaky at times, but that's during chase scenes and when it's supposed to give you more of a intense feeling. I don't know. The camera work, there wasn't really anything bad. Music, it's just your typical Christmas soundtrack, aside from a couple very creepy remakes of songs, which I actually enjoyed a lot. And, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and spoil the ending here, because I really want to talk about it. But I'm going to put a little thing on the bottom saying when I'm done talking about the spoilers. So right now, spoiler alert. Okay, here we go. How Krampus himself works, according to this movie, is he will kill everyone in the family aside from the one person who called him to leave them alive as a warning as to what happens when you lose the spirit of Christmas. This happened to, the main character's grandmother when she was a child. Her family was killed by Krampus and his army of little things. I don't even know what to call them. And at the end of the film, it seems like Max, the main character, is going to be the only one left alive. Then, of course, as his cousin is being dragged off, he runs after her, and he tries to tell Krampus he takes his wish back of what was the reason he was called. Like, he takes it back. He doesn't want this. He just wants his family back. And you know what? That's actually kind of a touching scene. Until Krampus takes him and throws him into the hellfire where he just threw his cousin a few seconds ago. Yeah, this movie does not spare anybody. Even the baby gets axed off, and that was surprising. Because I get watched a lot of horror movies when teens and adults get killed. I don't know that many horror movies when kids get killed, let alone babies getting killed. So I'm going to give props to the filmmakers on that. They were willing to do something even R-rated horror films can't find themselves willing to do. But of course, then Max wakes up and it leads people to believe, oh great, it's a stupid dream ending. And he goes down, and it seems like everyone's happy and okay until he opens a present with the ornament that Krampus gave him. And you're left thinking, oh my gosh, it's a sequel hook. But, literally in the last 10 seconds, the camera pans out and it shows that the entire house is in a snow globe. Everything that you saw in the movie actually happened. Krampus did indeed kill all of them. That ending is awesome. Right? It gives you the sequel hook, and it gives you the dream ending, which is what you're led to believe, except, boom, mind blown, it actually was real. Which means two things. One, they didn't go along the dream ending, which I absolutely hate, and two, there can't be a sequel. Okay, spoilers are done. You can come back now. So, when it comes down to it, do you guys think I can recommend Krampus? Oh yeah. I'd give this thing very easily 4 claws out of 4. It's a very enjoyably bad movie, but it's also a good movie. I can find myself watching it every year like I do Gremlins, and in fact, once it comes out, I'm gonna grab a Blu-ray of it, then I can do a back-to-back, Gremlins to Krampus. If only I could get my hands on a copy of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies on Blu-ray. Just the first two, because those other ones were awful. But you guys, go check it out. I really enjoyed it, and I think you guys might enjoy it. But, you know what? As I wrap up here, I would like to wish everybody watching a Merry Christmas. And remember, guys, Christmas, it's about family. It's about the birth of Jesus, our Lord and Savior. But you know what? Some of you may not believe in that, and just remember this. Christmas, it's about family. Together, we're all a family. God sent his own son down to die so we can be a family. So you know what, guys? Merry Christmas, and no matter where you are, I wish you the best Christmas and happy holidays you can have with those you truly care for. And until next time, or at least until the next video comes up in about 10 minutes, this is the Meteor Raptor saying keep cool, and I will see you guys around. Merry Christmas.